Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with Brian Sanchez, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City, Nevada. Thanks for being here, as always.
You know what? As always, Steve, it's exactly what I want to do right now is hang out with you and talk to everybody.
Nice. All right. So, we're going to talk about using workout
Right, right.
apps or written programs that are given to you by experts. And a lot of these people are experts, some of them aren't. But we're going to talk about why you might want to do that and why you might not want to do that and what the benefits and all that stuff. So, first, tell us what you're talking about, Brian, when you talk about a workout app. What is it? It's an app on your phone. You see people in the gym using the app on the phone. It's basically giving them a workout, telling them what exercises to do, how many reps, how many sets, all that, right?
Right. Actually, what it is a lot of these applications, not all of them, but a lot of them, you're not necessarily always working with a live trainer, which some you can actually, like I used to train people live through video, like especially during the COVID shutdown. But I'm talking more about the applications themselves in which you're punching in all your information. Experts behind the scenes are putting together programs for you and you're using those programs. These apps will have like examples. You can click on things where you can see videos of the exercise. Uh, uh, and you'll get complete workouts put together for you based on the information you've put into that app and a lot of these. And they'll put something together for you, whether it be a training regiment, how you want to lift, what you're trying to do. They may ask you what kind of body type you want. You click on, do I want to be the apple? Do I want a pear? Do I want to be the pineapple? And you click on the pictures and the images and they'll create something for you. They'll ask, like your height and your weight, things like this, and how long it's going to take you if you want to, if your emphasis is weight loss and how long they expect to take. They'll say, well, in 14 weeks, we can drop you this amount of weight. Things of this nature. That's what I'm looking at. And I see a lot of people using applications, but I also see some people using video where they're actually working with the trainer. The trainer is just not located in our facility.
Yeah. So, we're talking about, so it kind of mixes in with working with personal trainers or coaches that are with you in the gym, in the same space, which obviously that's going to be the best way to do it. If you're going to hire a coach, it's going to cost a little more probably because the coach is right there with you. And so the trainers aren't doing the volume that they might do when they're off location. But um there's let me just first go through the reasons I don't use an app and I don't use a coach, not because I think I'm smarter than everybody. That's not why. It's because I know my body better than everyone else. And I have literally been lifting weights for 50 years. I have been lifting weights for 50 years. I've been in the gym for 50 years. So I know when to do one more set, when to do one more rep, when to cut it a set. Like today, I was my quad workout and I was doing my quad workout and I used the belt squat and then I went to the hack squat, 4 good sets on the belt squat. And then I planned on doing 3 sets, and that might be what's written down in your workout plan or your program. You might have written it down, or your coach might have, or it might be on your program that you got for the app. Now it would maybe says 3 sets of hack squats. That's what I plan to do. I got 2 really good sets of hack squats. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that 3rd set. I skipped the 3rd set. I got a couple extra reps on my 2nd set. And on that 3rd set, I skipped it because I felt like my body wanted to skip it and I could skip it. And that it would be a benefit if I didn't do that last set. Then I went to leg extensions and I got 4 good sets of leg extensions. When I say 4 good sets, that means not counting warm-ups. When I say 4 good sets on the belt squats, that's not counting warm-ups. That's a lot of sets. That's a lot of volume on my quads. I skipped one on the hack squat. So sometimes I'll change the structure or I'll change the split of my workouts. Sometimes I'll work my calves more. And so the reason I don't use a coach, and I started off as a personal trainer in this business back in Palm Desert, Palm Springs area, and I did it for 8 years. But the reason I don't use one now, and I also don't use a workout partner. I don't have a workout partner. And the reason is I don't want my workout partner screaming at me while I'm banging my head on the wall. I don't train like that anymore. It's more precision and it's not crazy yelling, screaming, do one more, because I don't train like that. If I did, I used to when I was playing football in college, but I can't do it now. So I don't want someone designing a program for me who doesn't know my body, because almost every single workout, I know what body parts I'm working when I go in, but I adapt it almost every single time, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Almost every time that workout is adapted or changed somewhat from what I planned walking into the gym.
I think that's a really interesting point too, Steve, because in my workouts, as you know, I don't always work out with people. Sometimes I do, and mostly I'm by myself. But I regularly, based on my body, how it's feeling, what I've did that week, the amount of effort I've put into past workouts, I regularly adjust as well. And I too don't use a coach now, but in the past I have. I've had coaches in the gym, trainers. I've done, as a trainer, I've done video work, well, back when under the Parkway umbrella, when we were training the sports academies. During the COVID shutdown, everything I did with my clients was video work to their residents, and I would be upstairs at a facility, and I would film from here, and I would meet them on the phone at their house, and we would do the workouts that way. But I think that's a little bit different than the app side. I'm not anti-app at all. I think there's a place for it. I think that it does have some benefits, but I think you have to really measure out, Steve, what you're trying to get from your workouts and how you're trying to approach your behavioral changes in life. Because there's certain benefits to both, I would say. I think the pros, one of the things I like about the app is, I guess it's a personal thing for me. I don't like watching people wander through the gym trying to figure out what they're going to do next. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't say anything, and I don't think I'm a gym snob. I just don't like to watch people wander because I feel like they're wasting so much time. That's one of my big pros to, if you're trying to figure out what to do. If you're on these apps, you always have a plan. Whether you follow it or not is completely up to you. But you always have a plan when you come into the gym. And that's one of my big musts when you're working with me is in my clients, I'll tell you this, always have a plan, because they don't always work out with me, but they always have a plan when they do work out. The other benefit I like about apps for people, if you're in a little budget situation, the cost of the app overall through the year is going to be quite a bit less than hiring a trainer or hiring a coach. However, there's a lot of things you don't get with these apps that I think is important to recognize too when you're trying to make those decisions. Now, the app's going to be able to give you a plan. It's going to the exercises. It's going to write out how many days a week you should work out based on the information you put into the program itself. It's going to help you to measure things if you want. It'll give you measurements in the sense of where you should be in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, based on its information you have put in there. Now, it's only as accurate as what you've told them. Difference being is, with a personal trainer, you have a very different level of accountability, I think. And maybe I'm a little biased with that because I am a personal trainer and I've been a coach for a long time. With a trainer in your corner, the accountability is quite a bit different in my eyes. You a weight loss program. If we put you on the measurement system here, you can put all your information in on the app, and you can make certain adjustments to what you've done on that app, and you're hopefully going in the right direction. Whereas when you're working with us as trainers and we're trying to put you through a weight loss program, we're going to know, whether you tell us or not, whether or not you're on a good eating system.
Yeah.
We're going to flat out know. because the workouts are going to work whether you're in a application on your phone or whether you're with a coach. The workouts work. It's not necessarily the workout that makes that change. It's what you do outside of the gym and your behavior that allows you to truly lose that weight. It's how your lifestyle is. And the coaches are there to bring that accountability to a new level. We're the guys that are gonna, or gals, that are gonna throw you on the scan machines. Like we use a Steichen machine here, where you go in, you spin around, take your picture of your body. We know where all your measurements are. We do it regularly with our clients, and we really keep track of that if we're going to. Now, we're not too worried about overall body weight. We're looking at your body fat percentages, your water percentage, your muscle mass, things like this. But we can really keep good track on it. And we know if you're eating properly. And we know when you hit plateaus, and we can identify when you're under calorie, which is a major problem for people, and why they're plateauing when they're working out is they're not eating enough. So it doesn't matter what you necessarily tell us you're doing. We understand what you're not doing out of here to make those changes. And that's where we can make the help. That's where we can create adjustments in your lifestyle and your behavior. We can guide you in the right direction so that you can make those changes. You can't cut workouts with us. Think of it this way. There is probably a better bang for your
A big
buck with
one.
your,
Explain that.
yeah, you're probably getting a better bang for your buck in an app. I get that. However, when you hire me and I put down my hourly rate, I'm going to be all over your calendar looking at when you're supposed to be here. I do things like I click on your sign ins. I know how many times you signed into our gym this week. And I tell my clients, make sure you sign in every time you walk through that door, because that's what I'm using as a measurement. Because even when you're not with me, I'm asking you to do certain things. Here's how I want you to do cardio. You want me to stand next to you, or do you want to do it on your own? And most people say, I'll do that on my own, but I'm checking to make sure they're coming into the gym. If you don't show up for your workout, well, there's a different thing going to go on. If you paid me my hourly rate, because I do half hours and hours, you're going to lose that if you don't show up. You can't just cut out on your workout. Now, the other side, on the benefit side of that, is if you're not here, we're looking for you, not because we want you to take your money. We're generally concerned. You want to know why? Because with a one-on-one coach, you develop a relationship, and we learn about each other, and we have a vested interest in your success. And you may even develop a vested interest in us, in which you realize that there's a trust being built. These are things you're not going to necessarily get with an application. Now, people might say, well, I talk to my coach online all the time. Great. But I want you to have to sit down with us 3 days a week and work with us and learn what we're doing. And I think that's a big benefit of the one-on-one coach that you don't get from the application.
Let me just stick in there. What you're talking about is accountability.
Correct.
Accountability is huge. And the other thing, it's not just that you want them to show up because they're paying you. Coaches take this personally
Very personal.
because it's a reflection on them. So if you're my client and in 1 month you're fatter, I'm going to take that personally. Not only am I going to be pissed off at you, I'm going to be pissed off at me for letting you do that. So it's a partnership. That coach or that personal trainer, they need you to be successful. And if you're not successful, they're going to take it personally. Hey, they're going to take it personally when you are successful too and brag about you, right? Anyway, I just had to cut that in there.
No, I think that's important. And that, I think those relationships, which I touched on, are what give you the bigger benefit when it comes to hiring coaches. It does cost you more. Let's make no bones about that. And when we add on to your programs, there could be fees to that as well. Now, you're going to get some ease of use out of the app, because you can go anywhere you want. You can go to any gym you want when you're using applications. You can go any time of day. So I think it's a lot easier in that sense, because obviously when you're dealing with coaches, and I can tell you that our coaches here, our trainers at the Parkway Athletic Club, are busy. Everybody has stacked schedules. So we're putting you into certain time frames, and we try to lock you into those time frames and make that a regular time for you. So we don't always have hey, can I come in at 7 o'clock at night when you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning based on our schedules as well. So I think there's a lot more ease to usage when you're using the application. So that's a pro to it. And I don't want you guys to think that we're anti-app. I mean, use whatever you can. However, we just want to bring some discussion to it on what's the best product for you. Now think of this. If you're somebody that can't do, let's just say you're going to college and you take an online class and you don't finish your online class. If you're somebody that struggles with those types of things, then don't buy an app because you need that one-on-one contact. I mean, my son, as an example, my youngest son, he's got a class he's got to finish up that he knows from college that he knows exactly that he can't take it online because he tried that. So he's going to sign up and take it at the college here. And you have to think about that. If in your life you're not very successful at doing things online, then come see us one-on-one individually. But always remember that there is the right place for these applications. So if it gets you into the gym and you are successful with it, then by all means stick with it. If you've tried them and you don't know what to do, then come and see the coaches, because every one of the coaches, especially when they talk about costs, trainers have pricing plans that they can work with you to get you into something that works for you, because you don't have to work out with your trainer every single day. You just have to have a plan that you have the information you need every single day, Steve.
Yeah. Let's talk about who should have a personal trainer or coach. A beginner. A beginner
Absolutely.
should. Why? Because if you can afford it, not everyone can afford a trainer. Some can, some can't, of all ages. But the reason I would recommend a coach live in person in your gym is because you don't know what you're doing. You do not know what you're doing. Now, most gyms will give you at least one, maybe up to three. How many do we do? One, two,
We
three?
we'll do one a year with anybody.
Okay.
Our coaches generally do one session with an
That's no
individual
charge.
at no charge. And then after that, we call it our introductory, where we interview you, we talk to you, we find out what you want to do and how you want to do it. And then after that, we will show you your options. If we need to revisit on another introductory, by all means, we will, if that's necessary. But at some certain point in time, obviously, you're going to have to pay for our services.
Sure. I mean, that's how our trainers make their living.
Right.
So a beginner for sure. And then also the intermediate person can really benefit from a trainer, but that's where the accountability comes in. You got to show up. If you got a trainer, you got to show up. You got it set in at a certain time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm meeting my trainer at 10 in the morning. I'm meeting my trainer at 7 in the evening. So you have an appointment, it's scheduled, you have to show up. There's where the accountability helps because you're paying for it and you got to get your money's worth. The other thing I think a coach can help with, if you're an intermediate lifter, is this kicking things back and forth. What's that trainer's ideas compared to yours? Because you're going to have some and you're going to be able to express how you feel when you do this, when you do that. Hey, I like this body split. What do you think about changing this up? Or your trainer may say, hey, let's change this up. Let's do a different body split next week, or whatever it may be. You've got a second set of eyes on what you're doing and a second brain on what you're doing in the gym. And that can really make a difference. And you go, hey, I like that idea, I'm going to implement that. And then you try it, and both people can see how your body is responding to the plan or the program. And that's where it can even be a benefit for advanced lifters. And a lot of times you'll see an advanced lifter get a personal training for one session just to get some new ideas.
Exactly. In fact, I've got a couple of advanced people that I work with regularly. They don't need me. It's just the information that we can provide for each other and how it all works out for their benefit. Plus, for them, they're so advanced, but they're so busy in their own training schedules that there's an ease there when they don't have to think so much about it when they have somebody helping them through the process, because they're they're not withdrawn from their own fitness, but it does help to make sure they get their time in. Again, it becomes more of an accountability thing. But Steve, I think there's another important group that I'd like to mention that I think does need a coach in lieu of an application. If you have special conditions with your body, it's really important if you're on necessary medications that are going to save your life that you at least inquire with a personal trainer. If you've had a hip replacement, if you have a knee replacement, if you've torn your rotator cuff, if you've done these things to where you've had significant injuries and you're trying to come back into the walk of life and regrow from where you were in the past, very, very, very important to have that one-on-one connection and somebody that is there to watch every move that you make so you don't fall backward. And what I mean by that is you don't re-injure yourself. You don't, you have somebody clearly watching your heart rate, your breathing. You don't, do box jumps when you just replace your knee, things like this. And it's very important because a lot of people, when they come into the gym, might be thinking, okay, I had my rotator adjusted. So if I don't do shoulder presses, I should be fine. But then you'll see them maybe going into other exercises, which they don't think impact their shoulder. But in all reality, they're using a significant amount of that shoulder to just get that job done because the shoulder has to stabilize so many things. That's the same with the hip, the same with your back. So those are times also when I think it's absolutely important to at least speak with the coaches and the trainers before you commit to your program.
Last thing I'll say, when you have to have a coach, I didn't have a choice. When I was playing college football, you have a coach. When you get to that level and you have a sports conditioning coach, and if you're supposed to run so many wind sprints, they're there to make you do it. They're an athletic coach. If you're supposed to do so many sets of bench press, they're the coach. You do what the coach says. So that would be the last category of coaches. I was coached by one of the best strength conditioning coaches in the country when I was in college. And he went on to work with the Oakland A's, the Lakers. And now I think he's still working and he's at North Carolina with a basketball team. So that's a coach that is your coach and he's the boss of you.
Right.
So that would be the other time, and that's kind of unique, and that's kind of you really build a relationship with those coaches, just like you have a position coach out on the field. I was a defensive back, so we had a defensive back coach. You have a defensive coordinator, you have a special teams coach, you have all those things. So that would be the last time. So any last thoughts, Brian?
No, but if you're going to spend $50 a month on a plan through the internet phone, that becomes a significant investment at the end of the year. Don't waste your money if you don't think you're going to follow through. Come see us.
I was going to say $50 a month. I don't think we have any trainers that are $50 a month.
No, we're a little more expensive than that, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
$50,
just saying.
$50 an hour on the low end, right?
Yeah, at a minimum, yes.
Yeah. All right, Brian, thanks for being with us.
Take care, everybody.